Hi guys, this is the Audiofool, and for today, we're going to review the Chord Hugo to DAC. If you watch my Modi Multibit vs Chord Mojo video, it was mostly a draw, and you should go with the Mimbi if you wanted more details, and the Mojo if you wanted better bass and a more fun listen. I do need to revisit that review as I just recently upgraded the Mimbi firmware, but for now, we'll pit the bigger, more suave DACs, the Yggdrasil, versus the Chord Hugo 2. Will they have the same result? We'll find out, but before that, let's take a closer look. The Hugo 2, like the Mojo, is a portable unit. If your definition of portable is having a panty pack with your DAP and power banks and cables and all. But it's significantly smaller than the full-size Yggdrasil and runs on an 8R internal battery. You have your orb controllers on the side, filter indicator, input indicator, crossfeed indicator, and power indicator. The filter indicator is a sort of a pre-programmed EQ for incisive neutral, bashful high-frequency roll-off, dopey warm and smooth, and sleepy warm and high-frequency roll-off. Inputs can be switched from USB, Bluetooth, optical, and coax. Crossfeed indicator supposedly makes your headphones sound more like speakers, but on the HD6XX I tried, it was still inside my head, but in fairness, each settings makes the center slightly more focused and slightly higher, so there's some changes you can play with at the very least. Below are micro USB for power and input. On top is a bigger orb that you roll to control the volume and changes color depending on the volume. The central window lights up depending on the sample rate. On the other side, headphone jacks 3.5 and 6.3, RCA outs, and a digital coax 3.5mm pin, and optical in. Price is $2,500 in the US and 1,800 British pounds, so not so far off. This must be my longest intro yet, and if it sounds complex, it is, but you'll get it after a couple of years. For my test tracks, it's 3 out of 5 in favor of the Yggdrasil, but I went on and tried other songs and it does come out mostly even, so I'm chickening out and going to say it could go either way depending on the listener. In general, the bass is louder in the Hugo, but the Yggdrasil is better controlled and sounds significantly tighter and well defined. Mid-range is slightly thicker and fuller in the Hugo, but I can hear more nuances and better timbre in the Yggdrasil. Vocals are also a bit richer in the Hugo, but more than that, the forwardness of the bass in the highs makes it appear a bit more holographic, although it does come at the expense of muting some of the details in vocal striations. Going to the shrillish sounds, the Hugos have a lot of sparkle, and perhaps having a bit too much at times that it clouds the other textures. That said, it does make some music a bit more flashy and exciting. The soundstage does seem to be simply bigger, and as such, orchestras sound grand while still being able to place instruments, and also that 3D vocal effect I mentioned. The Hugo 2 also seems to be more silent and have darker darks, perhaps because I'm running the Hugo on batteries. Before I conclude the comparison, I really have to mention that most of the differences are quite subtle, and some people might even find it inconsequential. Both are excellent DACs and I could live with either. But if I can't chicken out, I would probably go for the Yggdrasil as I find the bass to be considerably tighter and grippier. But to be honest, I'd just go for the cheaper one I could find and I'd still be a happy camper. What I like the most about the Chord Hugo 2 is that the sound quality is just up there together with the Yggdrasil, which is one of the finer DACs you can find. And to beat those two, you need to spend thrice or maybe even 4 times the amount of money spent on them, and the differences will be this big unless you have gears that cost more than cars. So the Hugo 2 is an epic DAC and one that you will probably live with for the rest of your life. Another thing I like is that it's portable or almost portable depending on your definition of portable. But it's still small and pretty, and it's got pretty lights, and it can belt out fantastic tunes on the go. And then you also have those filters or EQs, so you can use it to tune your sound if you have bright speakers or if you listen to a lot of poorly recorded songs. For me though, I actually just gravitate towards the dopey, warm, and smooth setting. What I don't like about the Chord Hugo 2 is that the bass isn't as well defined as the Yggdrasil, although it's already grip enough on its own. Then you don't have that balance out, which most of the competitors at this price level have. The 3.5mm digital coax in is also a bit rare, so it's gonna be hard to find good cables for that one. And then there's no MQA if you actually like MQA, but it could be a deal breaker for some people. And then finally, operation and the lights takes a little bit of getting used to. What I hate about the Chord Hugo 2 is that it includes everything except the kitchen sink, which makes it a bit expensive considering that you can have the Chord Q-Test for significantly less without significantly losing a lot of sound quality. So if you don't need that portability, that headphone amp, the volume control, the X feed, you can just go for the Q-Test, which is the Hugo 2's greatest competitor. And it actually makes it a more valid argument against the Yggdrasil. But of course, if you actually also dabble into headphone amps, into personal audio, then the Hugo 2 is probably one of the best headphone amps you can buy. So I've been Audiofooled. Tiny DAC, epic sounds. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or suggestions, just write them down below. See you in the next video.